Hey Sharon.
Hey Tabitha.
What are we doing today?
We are going over all of our January reads.
Sweet, let's do it.
Cheers, besties.
Okay, so we're gonna go in a specific order. We're gonna go with ARCs and any outlier books, all in one. And then we'll do DNFs, and then we'll go from the bottom to the top. So from 1 stars all the way up to our favorite books. So any ARCs or outliers for you?
Yes. So this month I did get to listen to the ARC for the Blood of Hercules audiobook through NetGalley. So thank you to NetGalley for that ARC. I had so much fun with it. It was so unserious in such a fun way. I didn't know what to expect going into it. Went into it blind like every other book I've ever read and just had fun with it. And that is how I recommend experiencing it.
What genre is it?
It is fantasy. It is Hercules, you know, Greek.
Is it fantasy or fantasy romance?
Fantasy romance.
Okay.
Romantasy.
Okay.
Can't tell you much about it.
But the romance is
there
like
is
front
romance.
and center.
That is up there. Yeah, fantastic. It's set on Earth, so that, you know, low fantasy, but has the Greek mythology elements from the get-go. Set in the future. There's Titans. There's the Greek gods. There's all the things and humans, and it's a whole mess. But it's a fantastic time.
Sweet.
So yeah, so much fun, so unserious.
Nice. I didn't get to any ARCs, unfortunately, but I do have 2 that still don't have any ratings. First off is a nonfiction book. It is thinner, leaner, stronger. I just didn't know how to rate it. There's some good information here.
Is it just about like getting healthy?
Yeah, it's got like it's got workouts as well as like diet information, nutrition information as well.
Yeah. Good January book.
It was a good January book. Yeah. Decent if you're into that kind of topic.
Yeah, fair.
And then the other book that I read was The Most Boring Book Ever by Brandon Sanderson.
Was it boring?
No, it was actually really interesting, and he did some cool stuff with it. But I just don't know how to rate it because, you know, it's a picture book.
Gotcha.
So it is neat, and you could read it in like 3 seconds.
Nice.
But yeah, it's pretty fun. And yeah,
is it like a kid's book, or is it just kind of
it is a kid's book. Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm just getting those Brandon Sanderson books in.
Well, I was actually working on just getting some of my TBR down a bit because my goal, if you guys haven't watched our physical TBR video, is to get it down to 50%. And this is a good spot to check in with that. Yeah. I was at 29% in December. And then at the begining of January, I got to 30, but now I'm at 31.5% of my library.
All right.
So chugging along. Progress, growth.
Yes.
And this helped because, as I said, this was a very quick read.
Yeah, easy.
So now, any DNFs from you?
There was one book that I barely started it and realized it just was not the vibe I was looking for. So I wouldn't count it as a DNF. I didn't even count it on Fable, but I got a few pages in and I was like, you know, this ain't it. And it was The Cellar by Natasha Preston. And the type of thriller it wasn't what I was looking for at the time. So I ended up swapping for a different book.
Is it just like a soft DNF then?
So honestly, I'm not going to come back to it because it's a sort of a thriller mystery that I'm not, it's like a closed door, like trapped room, whatever situation.
Okay.
And you find that out immediately. That's just not really my thing. So I said, nah, no thanks, and swapped to a different book by her.
Sweet.
And yeah, so that was that.
I do have one DNF as well. And this was one I think we have for an upcoming, was it the TBR video? TBR jar? I want to say it's a TBR jar. Yeah, because it was like completely out of my choice and it was witches.
Oh, yes.
And I didn't get very far into this. I have learned that I don't necessarily vibe with witches in books. Oh. So there's nothing wrong with the writing.
I love witches in books.
This probably is going to go to her.
Cool.
I just don't vibe with witch stories generally. Okay. So it is what it is. Can't say anything bad about it. I didn't get super far in it. I was just, it's not for me.
All right, cool. I'll give that a go.
It needs to be in an unhaul later.
Fine. I'll wait. I'll take it in that video.
Yes. All right, so that was DNFs out of the way. Any 1 stars?
Nope.
Sweet, me either.
Awesome.
Nice. High five on that.
Sweet.
What about 2 stars?
Yes.
I also have 2 stars.
Yeah, so my 2-star, I gave it a 2.75. It was just, you know, just above mid read. And that was The Cabin by Natasha Preston. And so that was the one I swapped to from the seller. And it was a palate cleanser at the time when I read it. And I read it during Winterween. And so I was in a thriller mystery vibe. And I'd read one book by her in December, The Fear. And that one I actually really enjoyed and had fun with. It was a good time.
And these are all, her books are YA thrillers?
Her books are YA thriller horror, yes. So I was, unserious, like lighter, as much as murder can be. And compared to the first book of hers that I had read, it wasn't as great. And I just felt kind of like bummed with the way it turned out. So that one ended up being just kind of a mid-read.
Okay. Yeah.
How about you, Tabitha?
Yeah, I have two. One.
So disappointed.
Well, this was my first Darcy Coates book, and this was like I think around 2.75 as well, where it was just kind of boring. I didn't really vibe with it. Same as the last one. I like haunted house stories, but this one was just kind of boring. So
Darn.
That didn't work for me. And then the other one was Nine Perfect Strangers. I'm not gonna go into details. If you want to know my thoughts on this, you can see our bestie book swap. That will be linked as a card. So yeah, those are my two stars.
All right, easy peasy. So now on to 3 stars. I only had one in the 3-star category.
Same.
Yay! This one I actually gave a 3.5, and it is Gleam, which is the 3rd book in the Plated Prisoner series. I actually started it at the very end of November and finished it in the beginning of January. It took me a while to... She's thick, okay? Yeah. It took a while to get through, and it kind of lulled a few times. And I was getting into reading slump. I was getting into just like feeling different genres, wasn't really feeling the romantasy. So I still had a good enough time with it. Where it left off, I want to keep going, but I also know that the next book is also going to be difficult to get through. It's very long. I think it also lulls some. So
It's actually interesting because I think when I read it, this was my favorite of them.
Oh.
So...
Like it had a lot of interesting parts. I think I just took too long to read it. So I just ended up feeling like, are we done yet? But also it's like 600 or 700 pages. I don't know. It's
chonky.
It's chonky. So, which is not saying much compared to like the other books I read this month. What is this? What is this?
This is my 3-star. Perfect segue.
Yeah, tell me about it.
This is a novella following Sorcery of Thorns. It's not needed. It was a good vibe. It was fun. It was whatever. It's not really necessary. So don't get too excited about it if you loved Sorcery of Thorns. It's not like progressing plot or anything that much. It's just kind of spending more time with the characters, which is fun, and that's why it's in 3 stars. Because I had a decent enough time with it, but it's not one that I would say is like worth going out of your way to read or anything like that.
Well, speaking of novellas, on into the 4 stars, I read 6 Scorched Roses, which is the novella in the middle of the first duology of the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and it was fantastic. I loved it so much.
I love that one.
I think I gave it 4.5. In less than 200 pages, it did everything to my heart. It's beautiful. These characters do come in the following book, so that made me happy. I did start that book. I haven't gotten through it yet, so we're not going to talk about that. But this one, I love them so much, and I want them. I want more of them. I just loved them and their relationship. Yeah. And the way it develops.
If you're reading this series, make sure you read this one, because it is phenomenal. Do not sleep on this one,
okay? Anyway.
What's your other one that you have there?
My other one, I read Phantasma. Yay! Check that off my 25 and 25.
Yes.
So proud of myself. Oh, I had so much fun with this one as well. I think I gave it like 4.5. And I loved it. Yay. It was so much fun. I loved the setting, where they're at, where this takes place. I loved the trials. I loved the characters. Like it was all good. It was all a fun time and had me guessing on a lot of things. Like the level of mystery within the book was perfect. And yeah, I loved it. Everything about
exciting.
It
I'm
was
glad
so
you
exciting.
got to finally read it.
You've been wanting to read it. I've been wanting to read it since I think like September or even August.
Yeah.
And I finally read it.
Yay.
So it was fantastic. It does have a book 2 coming out in a couple months. It looks like that book is going to follow a different character, but is still going to be tied to a lot of stuff from here. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Oh, it was so much fun. Yay. I loved it. Yes, characters. Yeah, they can. Anyway.
What about your digital ones?
Yes. So then I had 2 audiobooks. I started it's the War of Lost Hearts series by Carissa Broadbent. It starts with Daughter of No Worlds, and then book 2 is Children of Fallen Gods. And I listened to both of those audiobooks, and such a neat story. Loved it. Had a good time. And I have book 3 coming up. Probably next month. I don't know. We'll see. I will also, that's coming. Anyway, but books 1 and 2, I really enjoyed the characters. I really enjoyed the setting and the world building. The magic was pretty. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good time. And fantasy romance. A lot of like wholesome characters almost, I feel like. So
I love Max.
Yes. Oh, Max is such a sweetie. Good characters, just good, wholesome, like feel good, despite everything that's going on in the story. But yeah, definitely really interesting where that story's going and where book 2 left off. Oh, we have some splaining to do, okay? So very intrigued to see how that story ties out.
Sweet. I'll do my digital first. So I read the graphic novel comic for Dresden Files. That was
Oh, okay.
That was Welcome to the Jungle.
Yes, I saw that on your Fable and I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I wanted to play around with my Kindle Color. So, and it's a color one. So I was like, hey, I'll get back into the Dresden world for a minute. And I had a lot of fun with it. It reminded me of what I love about Dresden. It's definitely not something you have to read if you're into the Dresden Files. It's definitely a one-off, like, enemy of the week kind of a comic book style thing. But it just reminded me of what I love about Dresden and his character. So that was a fun little experience to have.
Nice.
And then my other 2 4-stars were In the Woods and The Faithful Place by Tanya French. So that's books 1 and book 3. We have a guest! We have a guest appearance! Come here! Come say hi! We have a co-host, guys. The co-host has entered the building.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love her so much.
Say hello.
Hello.
This is your debut.
Hi. You wanna look at the camera?
I got a cat.
She got a kitten.
She's so cute. Oof. Her name is probably gonna be Misa.
Look at her. She's so cute and small. Hang on. It's like,
Thank you for being the star of the show.
oh, she's so cute, guys. This is what we're all about right here.
Yes.
Books and cats.
Books and cats and books and cats. She's like, let me go.
Like, please save me.
Release me. Yeah, so books 1 and 3. You'll see why I skipped 2 in this section. That's because it's, spoiler alert, it's going to be a 5-star. But yeah, I really enjoyed those, both of those. Yeah, just book 2 happened to be better. But they're fun, interconnected standalones following different detectives in each story, going through some kind of murder mystery. So pretty fun series.
Yes.
Those are my digital 4-stars. Next, my physical 4-stars. We can cover 3 of these in one.
Oh, easy.
And that's books 2, 3, and 4. In An Ember in the Ashes. I had a lot of fun with this series. I wouldn't say it's like a new all-time favorite by any means.
Okay.
I loved the first one, but I enjoyed the rest of the series.
Okay, that's nice.
So, yeah.
It wasn't like a decline. It was just like, okay, that was still good.
Yeah. The first one was phenomenal, and the rest were good. Or were great, even. So, yeah, had a lot of fun with that series. That series is a young adult fantasy series. Don't expect fantasy romance.
Yeah.
It has like a little bit of a romance in it, but it's very much plot B.
Okay.
Very much in the background. We're mostly following a rebellion versus empire situation with cool magic stuff, nice fun time, very good, very solid writing, especially in YA.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can read a little too young, but this one, solid, so.
Nice.
Next, we have book 2. This was a 4.5 star, mind you, so.
Good to know. Good to know.
It didn't, like, the first book was just, like, a new all-time favorite, and this.
Coming up.
Hi, welcome back, welcome back.
She's back. She said, hi, this is my show now.
Okay, so you're here.
She's like, no, I'm not.
She's like, goodbye. Okay, go be right there. Go be right there.
I love the girl.
You will be fine right there.
I'll hold you while your mom talks.
So this was still very good, and I think that in a lot of ways it was actually better than book 1. However, in some ways it wasn't. So it just was a 4.5 instead of a 5.
I'm not good with animals. I'm sorry. Please don't come for me.
She's just got her zoomies, okay?
Yeah, she's just
You
like,
can't
I've
help
been
it.
napping. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. I'm exploring.
She
did just come home today.
Yeah. We did just get her today.
Too fun.
Today.
It's gonna be the day.
Bring Me the Horizon just did a cover
Cat.
of that song, by the way.
Oh, that's cool. You should listen to that.
Yeah. I'll make you listen to it, don't worry.
I'll make you.
This was my second Junji Ito. My first Junji Ito is actually in my 5-star pile right now.
Hey.
But this is a short story collection. I loved a lot of these. Actually, it's a 4.5. I could, over time, see it moving to 5 stars. So we'll just have to see where this ends up landing. My last 4-star was Cross My Heart. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah?
I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And the basic premise of this one, we're following someone who gets a heart. I think you would love this, actually.
I do want to read it.
Actually,
I'm
like,
planning to borrow it from you.
high key, I feel like you would love this.
Yay!
But we're following a woman who gets a heart transplant, who is making a connection with the husband of the donor. There's some very interesting things, really neat, fun twists and turns.
It looks kind of thrillery.
It is, very much. So, I'm just gonna...
Thank you.
Don't mind that our February TBR is already over. Cross
We will
My
always...
Heart. That's perfect for February.
Oh, that's
anyway.
a great Valentine's read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got online dating and everything.
My poor February TBR.
The best of the best, the cream of the crop.
Like
And look how many 5 stars we have.
We had so many 5 stars. Yeah, we actually had like a really good reading month.
We did. Yeah, lots of 4 stars and 5 stars.
Yes. So, where to begin?
So our first 5-star read was Sword of Kaigen.
It was beautiful.
I cried.
Impeccable. I also cried.
Everything about this is perfect.
Everything.
The setting, the characters, the world building.
The plot.
Just everything.
Everything.
Literally
Everything.
no notes.
Yeah.
Perfection in a book.
Do it again. Like it.
Strong contender to be my favorite book this year, which it is January. So hopefully I get some good reads.
Yeah.
But this book, it's just, this is a new favorite for sure.
So good. So good. So good.
Yeah, so Sword of
Yeah,
Kaigen.
so like read it. Yeah, so the other overlap that I finished
Literally today.
a couple hours ago. House of Bane and Blood has my heart, body, mind, and soul.
Yep.
New favorite book couple. The setting, amazing.
The best
magic
fantasy
system,
romance I've read in a while.
That's a big deal. Oh my gosh, I'm in love.
The last 5-star I gave for a fantasy romance was in August, and it was for a reread of Zodiac Academy.
That's right.
So
Yeah, so, and I haven't really been, neither of us have been feeling romantasy lately.
yeah.
So we were skeptical going into this, and then we both read it and loved it, fell in love, all the things. And then she read book 2 already, so I need to do that. Which apparently was only 4.5. No, I'm just kidding. That's still great.
Only 4.5.
Only in the month we've had, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, phenomenal.
It felt very Peaky Blinders, very Legend of Korra.
Yeah, there was some good like rivalry. There's some good vengeance.
Bending versus not bend, like benders versus not benders.
Yes, yeah, and kind of like a steampunk
Yep.
situation. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. It was amazing.
Boom.
Yes. Also, the audio, his voice. Yeah. It was
And
beautiful.
I am not normally one to be like, oh my god, and that spicy scene. But that spicy scene.
Guys, just like the development of these characters and
Yes.
their relationship,
Yes.
beautiful. Yeah. Marriage of Convenience. That was fun. That was fun. Lots of good tropes done well.
Yes, exactly. They
That's-
were done so well. Great writing too.
Yeah.
I didn't notice any like outstanding, I think this is indie, but I
Yeah.
didn't notice any like outstanding errors or anything. The writing felt very natural, very good pacing. It was just the
Beautiful.
best fantasy romance I've read in
It was
quite a while.
so good. Yeah. So definitely check this out.
Yeah,
No notes.
sweet.
All right, so those were our shared 5 stars. All right, so I began my Crescent City journey. Got through books 1 and 2, as you can see. Phenomenal, clearly, if they're in the 5-star category. Guys. Okay, so I know a lot of y'all have probably read these. So if you know, you know. And if you don't know, that's fine.
She's already bought a Crescent City sweatshirt. Like, she's in it.
I am in it, guys. Like, I'm hooked. Like, it is So much fun. I'm finding that I really enjoy urban fantasy. I love these characters. It's just fun.
One thing that you also really loved is the mystery element in here.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Guys, the mystery. That got me. That hooked me.
She texted me and one of our friends, like, why the fuck didn't you guys tell me there's a mystery in this?
Yeah, I was like, if I'd known that, I would have jumped on this like so much sooner, because I was kind of skeptical getting into it, because I've heard a lot of things about the series, and especially after book 3 came out last year. But I am going into book 3 with a very different experience and expectation, because I haven't been sitting on this for a year or more. I don't remember, but yeah, I had a great time with these. So excited to see where it goes. I loved it.
Yay, I'm so glad.
Yes.
My next 5-star read was Psycho.
Ooh.
I didn't expect to love this as much as I did,
Yeah.
especially for it being like a more classic horror. But I ate this up, and I can't wait to watch the movie with you.
Yes. This is, yes.
Norman Bates, The Bates Hotel. So
Alfred
excited
Hitchcock.
to watch this.
I love Alfred Hitchcock,
Yes.
dude. Like, no one does suspense. No one does thriller. He's the king. He's the OG. I can't wait. Buddy watch. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, that's gonna be so good.
Yeah,
it'll be
this should be
interesting to
fun.
see how it compares to the book, because I haven't read that. I haven't seen the movie either.
I mean, you
so-
could.
I could. So we'll just add that.
Add that to your February TBR.
Maybe
It's already...
we'll March or something. I don't know. So my next 5-star, Blood Over Brighthaven, same author as Sword of Kaigen. ML Long just like got it, man.
She
is amazing. This was fantastic. Really interesting magic system. She has really good themes in her books too. So this one and Sword of Kaigen both, like the themes.
Yes. She hits you in the heart.
It hits. Yeah, she is amazing. So I definitely want more of her work in the world.
New favorite author?
New favorite author, honestly. Yeah, dude, I cried.
Same.
So yeah, if a book can make us cry, then it's probably
a good book.
top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Blood Over Brighthaven, definitely check that out. Okay.
My next 5-star was Uzumaki by Junji Ito. It was so good, and now I've told my husband enough about what happens in this book. The back literally says, spirals, this town is contaminated with spirals. And so I've told him enough about what happens in this book that anytime we see a spiral now, we just point at it and we go, So,
is it horror?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's really interesting and really weird and really fun. It's also a graphic novel, so it's very easy to read. But also, it's got some very graphic stuff in it. Yeah. Yeah. And it almost also, it is one overarching story, but it also...
I'm still reeling from that.
There are some images in here, I will say. There are some absolute images in here. But, yeah.
The fuck? Okay, now I'm terrified of spirals.
But
All
yes,
right, well, good to know.
I loved this, and that's why I immediately bought the Frankenstein book. You were there with me when I bought that. And then we'll be slowly checking out all of his work because, wow.
Nice.
Loved it so much.
Yeah. So is it like unique storytelling?
Very unique storytelling. Very creative horror, I would say.
Ah, okay. Does it being manga, like pictorial, like play a big part of that? Or do you think is it the visuals or the story?
It's both.
It's both.
It's both. The story is very interesting and weird, and the visuals are very interesting and weird.
Yeah. Visuals like that, I mean, yeah, it's gonna make a big difference.
Yeah. It's crazy. So but also like a lot of fun. That's weird to say.
That is weird
about
to
a
say.
book like this, but I had a lot of fun reading it and was like just slowly reading it every night before bed.
Before bed. You're just weird.
It did give me some weird dreams. I will admit it did give me some weird dreams, but that's more fun. I don't know.
Okay. To each their own. Speaking of weird, I also read The Tainted Cup this month. I almost said this season. I mean,
that's true as well.
Also, but anyway, I read this month. And beautiful, I loved it. There's a good chance that fantasy mystery is like my new favorite genre. That's what this is, in case you weren't sure. But his writing, this is Robert Jackson Bennett, his writing is just very digestible. Like, this story is weird. We got like weird names, we got weird concepts, but he just makes it so easy to just keep flipping pages. And potential new favorite author. We have more of his books lined up soon. And book 2 also comes out this spring. It is a series, but very interesting mystery, very interesting, weird fiction. Like, I am so interested to see where this goes. It very much gave like the setting of Attack on Titan with the like relationship dynamics of Sherlock. And I love all of those things. So this was a great book.
And she's not going to get any more in depth because we have, this is coming up in a bestie swap.
This is true.
So you'll get more information there.
Yes. Yes.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. That's coming in February. But yeah, definitely. Oh, amazing. Loved it. Same with this one. This was in the same bestie swap.
Oh yeah.
So, more thoughts coming soon.
Clearly that was a successful one.
Yes.
Last book that is in this video and that I read for a 5-star is Project Hail Mary. This was very sci-fi, but I loved it so much. The characters in here were so good, and the science was like not too overbearing to where I'm not like the biggest even though like I literally am in software, I'm not like the biggest science person ever. So they went to a star and I was like, bro, I didn't know that was a star. And then I mentioned that to my husband and he was like, you don't know about star, whatever the name is, the star.
They went to a star?
They went to a star. You'll just
without dying?
They didn't go inside the star.
But near a star?
Yeah.
How near? Like Earth near?
They were, just don't worry about it, okay?
Okay.
They traveled, well.
Space travel.
The basic premise is this guy wakes up on a spaceship and the rest of the crew is dead. And
Sounds
it's just
familiar.
him.
Okay. It's kind of Planet of the Apes-y of him.
But he doesn't remember who he is at all. And so he's just waking up in the spaceship and piecing together who he is. And then he has like some flashbacks of previous memories interspersed throughout. So he's collecting pieces of who he was as he's going through and learning things. There's just...
That sounds very intriguing.
It's really freaking good. People often mention the audiobook for this. 10 out of 10 recommend the audiobook. Yeah.
Oh.
It's not because it's like a crazy graphic audiobook or anything like that. The narrator just does such a good job, especially with the humor. This is very weirdly funny. Like, it's got some really, just like, really funny moments.
Huh.
Sprinkled in.
Cool.
So.
Just be taking that for ya.
I just add it to the pile. So, what is your favorite book you read this month? Out of all of these, I'm guessing it's going to be in the 5-star pile.
Yes, I have mine. Do you have yours?
I do have mine.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. This was a tough decision because we did have so many this was easy for her. It was a tough decision for me.
This book changed my life.
Yeah, she out of the park with that one. Yeah, I had so many good reads this month as well. I say it was a tough decision just because there were so many to choose from, but actually, no, for me, this one, the mystery and fantasy combination is like my new favorite thing.
If I would have read that this month, I would still probably choose this. It's like the John Mayer meme. This or John Mayer. John Mayer.
But it would still be this.
But it would be really hard because that one is so unbelievably good too.
Yes. So. Yes, so definitely stay tuned for upcoming Bestie Swap where I love this book so much. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite of the January reads.
So last, rip off the Band-Aid. We gotta rip off the Band-Aid. She looks confused.
I am confused.
She is confused.
Why?
What happened to our January TBR, Sherilyn?
What January TBR? Oh yeah. See, what happened was when we made our January TBRs. Okay, I'll speak for myself first. Then you can speak for yourself.
Answer for our crimes.
Yeah. So when I built my January TBR, I was very much.
Which is. It's a great sound effect. I'm gonna keep that exact one.
That you should. That didn't happen, okay? Because when I was building it, I didn't really have anything in mind that I wanted to be reading. And a lot of things from my 25 and 25 goal, I just kind of pulled from that, a lot of which was FanRow. And I was like burnt out on FanRow the next day.
Literally.
It was very odd. We like made that video and we're like, cool, TBR. And then we're like, oh, what have we done? And also the buddy swap book she had given me, the bestie swap book she had given me, I was expecting to read
in December.
In December. We had swapped those books in December actually, and I was expecting to read them in the last week of December, so I didn't include them in my January TBR because I expected to have finished them. Clearly that didn't happen. I'm a slow ass reader, okay? I'm like, oh yeah, I can finish that. No, I can't. So anyway, the bestie swap books that I knew I was going to be reading, I thought I was going to have already done, and I didn't. So I should have included them in my January TBR and, swapped out a couple of what I did throw in there. And then I was feeling burnt out on Fanro, and then I wanted to dive into more just hot fantasy, like straight fantasy without the romance so much. Ended up being a very exploratory month, and it worked out. You got a lot of 5 stars. We got a lot of good reads. So that being said, do you want to talk about your situation?
So very similar boat. I had a lot of fantasy romance on there. I did definitely get like around half of that done. So like I don't feel the worst about it, but also couple of things went wrong. Same with the fantasy romance. I was starting to fall off of that, and actually House of Bane and Blood was like my attempt to, I was like cramming some of my January TBR in like the last week of January to try and, because I had like 3 books only.
Yeah, literally I had Crescent City and the Crowns of Nyaxia book, 6 Scorched Roses. Like those were the only 2 I had done, and then we both were like, we have 1 week left. We should maybe try to check more of these off.
Yeah, so a lot of that is in an attempt to do that, but House of Bane and Blood really worked out for us.
Yes, and then Phantasma also for me. That worked out.
Yeah. And then another lesson learned is I put too many first books in a series, and I'm such a series binger.
Yes.
Like I literally put just book 2 of An Ember in the Ashes on there, and then finished the series. And then there was another book. And then The Likeness I put there.
Yeah.
And that was also a 5-star. I accidentally skipped that. Whoops. 5-star. But that's in the bestie swap. So
we'll get more of that.
Check that video out for more information on that one. But I ended up loving that one so much that I read 2 more in that series. So like I ended up reading a lot like in those series.
Yeah. It's like, it was like TBR adjacent.
Yeah. But we've learned a little bit. We did put a lot of first books in our February TBR.
We learned a little bit, not much, but like kind of. Yeah, we at least
we'll get better at that.
Yeah, I wouldn't commit to that.
We'll try to get better at that.
Yeah, I did realize after the fact, like I'd put the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I'd put that on my TBR, and when I was in the mood to read something of that nature, I should have picked it up and read it, and instead, that was when I read The Cabin, and it was still fine. But then I looked back at my TBR and I was like, why didn't I read something off my TBR to, have accomplished that? So
mood reading really fucked us over this month.
It really did. Yeah. This month was a...
But we got a lot of 5 stars out of it.
But we had a good reading. Yes.
Sweet. It's been a great reading month.
It has. We had a good reading month.
Let's get into our February.
Let's do it.
All right. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Cheers, besties.